Team Jackson, what's happening? Now, before we get started, I know some people only read titles and headlines, but no, this is not me being in a sunken place. But I'm pretty sure this is a largely unpopular opinion about what makes you pro-black, or rather what revokes your pro-blackness, because apparently I have a completely different definition than the vocal majority. You know, the conversation comes from recently Donald Glover being posted with his family, and it turning out that he's with a white woman and he has mixed race children. Jesse Williams also recently came under a lot of fire because he's with a white woman now, or dating a white woman, and both of these guys have been huge advocates, loud and proud, about the black community and black women issues and so on and so forth. But all of that is coming into question, and more so into scrutiny, because they're dating the opposite of that. You know, it's been a whole lot of chatter. I've even seen one woman say, you know, you can't be pro-black woman and pro-black community but dating white. That makes you a flaming hypocrite. That makes you a contradiction and a scam artist, and you was just after our dollars to build a fan base. You basically used us because you don't love us like you say you do. So for me, my thing is like, well, what do you consider, or what do you think of whenever somebody says that they're pro-black or that they love the black community? Because for me personally, I never associate that with their romantic preference. You know, that meaning that they exclusively prefer to date black people. Like whenever I see a black woman marching and protesting with tears coming down her eyes because a black man got gunned down while he was being unarmed, I don't say that's because she only dates black men. I say, you know what? Probably in that brother, she sees her son. She sees her nephews. She sees her brother, her husband, her dad. So because of that, she's personally invested enough to apply herself to trying to improve the situation. And for me, it comes from the same place. Like when I'm riding for black women, when I'm trying to make black women's voices heard in a society that likes to silence them and the things that are important to them, when I'm supporting and investing in black women, it's not because I really like sleeping with them or I don't like sleeping with anybody else. It has nothing to do with any kind of romantic value. It's because in black women, I see my mom, I see my grandmother, I see my aunties, my cousins, my nieces, my daughter, I see my sisters. So I'm going to ride for them because growing up for me personally, this is just me personally, but it was black women who nurtured me. It was black women who taught me right from wrong. It was black women who defended me, who wrapped their arms of love and support around me and my dreams, who got me to where I'm at today. And I love everybody else, but I'm always going to be an ally of black women for that reason. Even though I'm getting love from everybody else and I'm getting a little money now, I'll never be one of those guys that switch up and turn my back on them. But it has nothing to do with my romantic preference. And I'm just questioning, like, why is all of that get thrown out? Why is that love less valid? Because it's not romantic love. You know, why is romantic love from the man to the woman the only kind of love that gets dignified? Now, it's different if we're talking about dudes that make disparaging comments or generalizations. They putting down black women or saying it's only okay to date outside your race. That's different. But until I hear somebody say that, I don't project that on them. And maybe that's what's so offensive about interracial couples today. Whenever we see a black man with a white woman, or vice versa, even Serena Williams, they get a lot of heat. You know, Eve, that she gets a lot of heat because she's married a white man, is that we immediately project that they think that who they're dating is superior to their entire race. But my first thought whenever I see an interracial couple is that clearly they're open to dating outside their race, and it just so happened that they found love there. And then two, even if they wanted their culture, their race to be the thing that they had in common with their partner, that wasn't the highest thing on their priority list. And the same goes for me. Even though I've only ever dated black women, I've never dated outside my race, and it just so happened to be like that. I've never had sex or even kissed another woman outside of my race, but that wasn't what qualified those women to be in my life. And the same thing goes for my friends, my business partners. It's like, even though I've always identified as pro-black, before anything, I'm pro-real. We better have our values in common before we have just culture in common, you know, and even being pro-black doesn't mean that I'm anti-white, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Asian, so on and so forth. Being pro-black woman doesn't mean I'm anti all these other women. Being pro-black, my community means that I'm particularly invested in and proud of the community that I come from. So yeah, you're going to see it reflected in how I use my voice. You're going to see it reflected in what I talk about. You're going to see it reflected in the after school programs that I'm trying to start, in the young boys that I'm currently mentoring, in the black and brown men and women that I currently employ to run my companies. Like, you're going to see that invested. You're going to see me invested in that way into my community. But if it makes it less valid or not dignified as pro-black, because I wouldn't pass up on the chance to be with the love of my life just because she's of a different race than me, then maybe I need a different phrase to describe me, because I wouldn't. And I don't think anybody should have to pass up on who could be the love of their life just to make the love for their culture and the pride in their culture valid. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments. I'll let y'all later. Peace.